All right, so this one is 40 to 52. So I'm just making a few ahead. I know some of you are way out there. Yeah. So a triangle. Ooh. So I guess this section, if it's numbers and expressions. A triangle, so it helps if you draw it out. Well, you want the perimeter, so if you want, well, I'll draw it out since I started. 5x, 5.5x plus 6.2y. You have to draw this one. 4.3x plus 8.3z. This is 1.6z minus 5.1y. So if you want the perimeter, you got to add all these. So let's add it up. I'm going to do it on top here. Because it's addition, I'm going to remove all the parentheses. Remember, if you're adding, right, you won't change the signs of the terms inside of the parentheses, so it's okay to just write it like this. 8.3z plus 1.6z minus 5.1y. So now I'm going to erase my triangle. All the x's, 5.5x, positive 4.3x, and that's it. So that I can do that in my head. So that gives me 9.3x. Sorry, 9.8. Oops. 9.8x. So I know. Now, if you look at your multiple choices, A is gone. B is also gone because it doesn't have 9.8x. And I don't know where they're getting all those numbers, but I combine all the S's. So now it's between C and D. Let's do the Y's. I have 6.2y positive and negative 5.1y. So it's 6.2. 5.1, I gotta subtract those two. I get 1.1. So I get positive plus 1.1y. Either of these have 1.1y? This one does. I'm not even gonna do the other one. Okay, so C is my only viable choice. Okay, so if you use this strategy, right, as you're working, you can check your multiple choice and start eliminating those that make absolutely no sense. Okay. 41. Okay. The amount of money in the bank increased by 21.5% if the amount of money at the beginning of the year is represented by N. So this is what you have right now. Right. And that's what you have. So instead of a value, they give you a variable N. Now, it increased. So if you increase, we're going to go 21.5%, right? That's your increase. So now it's going to 121.5. If you want to find this value over here, so you're coming back and you to the bank at the end of the year, and you look at your account and you want to see how much it has. Well, you would multiply whatever you had right at this point times the growth 1.215. We change that to a decimal, and that would give you the amount of money in the bank after the increase, right? So is there anyone that looks like this? Well, it's definitely nothing that plus. That's not it. That's not it. Oops, take that back. Oh, I see what they did. All right, so this would be the more direct way, and obviously that's not what they did. That would have been a choice. What they actually did is they took N, so this is what they had at the beginning of the year, and they found what the increase was. The increase is 21.5%. So they took N and multiplied that by 21.5%, which I'm going to change to decimal in a moment, times 0.215. So this, if you multiply these two, this represents your increase, right? So at the end of the year, when you come back to the bank, it will be your increase plus what you had originally, right? What you had originally. So it would be N and then plus the product of N times 0.215. This is the expression that would give you the total. I like my expression better. So it's definitely not D. It's definitely not C. And it's definitely Okay. Constructed. Uh-oh. Find the value of the expression, show your work. Ugh. Oh my god. So we definitely have quite a few things to do here. I would simplify things. Negative 1.5. So I would 9.5 minus 1.5. That gives A, so that simplifies to that. So if I'm showing work, this is what I would be doing. Negative 0.2. Ugh. I don't want to deal with decimals, so I can write that as 2 over 10. Sorry. Change that to negative 1/5. Okay. So that would have been written as 2 over 10. You can simplify it to 1 over 5. Negative, by the way. So I would change that. On top here, 0.4. So let me do that top part. So 0.4. This is 18, right? And then hopefully 0.4 times 18 is 7.2. So this whole thing here gives me 7.2. And I can change that to a fraction. And I can write 72 over 10. So I probably would have done something like that. I don't see why not. Did I make this a little bit longer? What if I just kept it as that? No. Let's see what happens. So obviously 72 over 10, you can definitely simplify, right? You can definitely simplify that. And again, you have a calculator in your hand, but this is the steps these are the steps I'll be showing. Now I'm going to continue over here. That's 5/8, and then 72 over 10. Right, I'll put that in parentheses. We're going to divide that or multiply by the reciprocal, which is 5 over negative 1, right? Because this is division, so multiply by that. Can I simplify this? Yeah, that becomes 1, that becomes 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, this becomes 36, and all that becomes negative 36. So 5/8 plus negative 36. And my final answer would have been negative 35 and 3 over 8. And that would have been just fine. So if you find an easier way of doing it, that's fine too. It's whatever comfort level you have, whether you want to deal with fractions or you just want to deal with decimals. Thing is, you have a calculator, so show some work. That would have been fine. Okay, that would have definitely been fine. Just a little bit more organized than mine. Okay. Mr. Gonzalez has $42.50 to spend at a clothing store. He wants to buy a t-shirt that costs $29, which has tax, and some bracelets that cost $4.50 each. Write an equation to determine the number of bracelets that we can buy. Alright, so all that we buy has to equal $42.50. We know we're buying a t-shirt. That costs me now. Now we know we need to buy some bracelets. That would be $4.50. X, right, times the number of bracelets. So X represents the number of bracelets that we're going to buy. So how many bracelets can I buy at $4.50 plus a t-shirt of $29 so that it equals $42.50? Well, let's solve the equation. Minus 29 on both sides. Okay, so that goes away. 450 X comes down. That's 3, and this is 13.50. Divide both sides by 450. That simplifies to 1. X equals, I believe, 3. And do you need to write a sentence at the bottom? Show your work? Yeah, no. There you go. 3 places. Bracelets. 44. Donaldson earns $18.80 per hour for the first 40 hours. Then she earns 1.5 times the amount per hour for each of the 40 hours, hour beyond 40 hours in a week. Last week, Mr. Donaldson worked 45 hours. How much did she earn? So for the first 40 hours, right, we're going to multiply that by 1880. That's how much for the first 40 hours. That's how much she makes. So let's figure out how much she made. 40 times 18.80. She made $752 here. Every hour after, so after 40 hours, she works 5.5 hours. But she doesn't make $18.80. She makes 1.5 times that much. So that's the overtime. Overtime, if you work anywhere and you you work overtime, they pay you a little bit more for the overtime hours. So her overtime, not right. So for the overtime hours, it's 5.5. So she earns a little bit much. So it's 1.5 times 18.80. So we're gonna multiply that by 1880. So 1.5, or just do 1.5. 1.5 times 18.80. 28.2. I'll be back. Okay, that wasn't that bad. So $28. So every hour after 40, she makes 1.5 times 1880. So she actually makes $28.20 per hour. So this is her hourly wage, which is, you always want to work overtime. So 28.2. So she did 5.5 hours of overtime times 28.2, which is how much she gets paid for the overtime hours. And just there, she made $155.10. Let me write that down. So how much is she earning total? Well, the total would be $752 plus $155.10. So that gives us, I have an idea, plus 752 equals $907.10. So that would be the amount she earned. Okay. 45. Health insurance payment was deducted from, okay, after insurance deduction, payroll taxes equals to 28. What the balance? What was the amount that received? Wait, are we talking about the same person? Sorry. Okay, I see. So we're using the answer for question A, and let me just get the answer back. It's 907. So this is how much she earns, right? So from that amount, they took health insurance. So you got to pay for health insurance. So it's 34.55. So we're going to subtract that. Right. So 907.10 minus 34.55? 55, yeah. So now her paycheck looks like this. Yeah, not exactly. So this is the health insurance. Now there's taxes. You gotta pay taxes, yes. So let me draw a bar model. So right now, after you paid your health insurance, this is how much you think you're taking home. $872.55. But step on the brakes. Government's gonna come and take 28% away from that, and you're gonna be left with 72% of that original amount. So that's what you really take home. So the last calculations, and if it says show work, the last calculation that would show would be the 872.65 that you thought you were going to take home times 72%, because 28% got taken out for taxes, and they do that automatically, by the way. So your check, 72%, I change that to a decimal. 0.72, so you're actually taking home times 0.72, rounded, it would be $628.24. I know. Probably saying that's not fair, but you know what? That's how life goes. So from 907.10, you drop down to 628. So that's the actual amount you take home, sadly. 28% is not bad. Okay, I think I get taken more than that. I think they take 34% from mine. 45. Patel bought a model rocket. Okay, the price of the kit was $124. The sales tax was $7, and then the charge for shipping was added after the sales tax. What was the amount he paid? Okay, so again, I'm going to keep to my drawing. So again, look at my bar model. 0%, 100%, you don't have to do bar model. So right now, the kit, you're responsible for paying $124.95. But on top of that, we're going to add a little tax for you, 7%. So that's going to take us to 107%. So let's figure that out first. So it was $124.95 for the kit times, let's change 107%. So what's the price including the tax? Multiply those two. 124.95 times 0.07. Oh, sorry. 124.95 times 1.07 is going to give us the price of the kit and the tax combined. So right now, his price just went up to $133.70 rounded. Okay, so you can, I don't know, label it this price of kit with tax. And then on top of that, plus the $10 for the shipping, that's going to give us $143.07. So that's what that would be his final price. That's what you would write here. Okay. 46. This one seems long. Oops, there's more. Oh no. Alright, so I forgot the number. No, okay. Hang on a second. Part B. If he receives $15 allowance per week, how many weeks will it take to purchase a kit? So, the kit, the total price of the kit was $143.70, right? So let me just leave it like that. So he gets an allowance of $15 per week. So let's divide that by 15. So 143.70, we're going to divide that by 15. 143.70 divided by 15 equals 9.58 weeks. But we can't do y, right? So it's in terms of weeks. So we're going to have to round that to 10 weeks. In 10 weeks, we're going to have enough money to purchase the kit. Oh, these part B's. 46. Ugh. What is this? Baseball team raised $967.50 to go to a tournament. They rented a bus for $450, $28.75 for food. They will spend all the money they raised. You want an equation that models the situation and how many players can we bring to the tournament. So all that, whatever we spent, it's going to equal $967.50. There's something that's fixed, the bus, right? So something plus a bus, and the other something is the food. It's going to be $28.75 per player times the number of players. So plus $450 for the bus has to be equals $967.50. So how many players can we bring? Well, minus $450, minus $450. 215, that goes away. 28.75p, divide both sides by 28.75, and p equals some number. 512.5 divided by 28.75 equals 17.83 players. You can bring 17.83 players. You can't bring 17.83 players. You can't bring 18 because that would be too much, right? So the maximum number of players that we can bring is 17. So this one we actually have to round down. Okay. 47. Okay, this something has $100 spent on parking and admission to the zoo. Parking will cost $7. Admissions is $15.50. Another equation that uses the number of people to bring to the zoo. Well, we'll practice. So 100 is our total. We need to pay $7 for parking, right? That's guaranteed. And then the other thing is that we're going to pay $15.50 times the number of people. That's the equation we can use to solve this, and it has to equal 100 because it says solve an equation. Please be careful with that. So minus 7 on both sides. You get 93. This is 15.50. So how many people can we bring to the zoo if we have 93 left after paying for parking? P equals 93 divided by 15.5 equals 6. Oh, look at that. Exactly 6 people. 48. $15 to spend at the grocery. She's going to buy a bag of fruit that costs $4.75 and 1 box of cracker. Yes, cracker. Inequality this time. Thank you. Make it a little bit different. The model situation, it can be used to determine the number of bags of fruit B Harper can buy. So she has $15, so it has to be less or equal to 15. You can't spend more than you have. I know she's going to buy bags of fruit each. So $4.75 for X number or B numbers of bags of fruits, plus 1 box of crackers, so that I know for sure. How many bags of fruit can we buy? Well, subtract 350 here, minus 350 here. That's going to give my 1150, 4.75B, right? Divide both sides by 4.75. B has to be less or equal to 11.5 divided by 4.75. E is 2.42. I don't think you can buy 2.42 bags of fruit, so greatest number of bags of fruit that you can buy is 2. Okay. 49, number system. Temperature, okay. Yesterday the temperature was positive 11.4. By midnight the temperature decreased by 15.7. So you were here. Decrease means we're going left on the number line, right? So what is our final temperature at midnight? Well, it's going to be obviously, so actually maybe this way is an easier way to see it with a thermometer. That's 0, so right now we're at 11.4 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to take a little dive, decrease. So 11.4 minus 15.7 is an expression you can use. What's the final temperature? That's going to be negative 4.3. Do we have a negative 4.3? There we go. Okay. 50. The altitude above sea level is given in positive. Okay, below is negative. Which situation describes a hiker in Death Valley stopping at an altitude of 0 feet? Okay, the hiker is so he's here. So it's, I don't know, let's call that mountain and then a valley, right? So he's at 0, so means 0 altitude. The hiker starts at negative 10. You know what? I don't know why I drew that. So let me draw something like this. This is 0. He starts at negative 10, okay. Then increases his altitude by 10. That will take him to 0. So A looks okay. B, the hiker starts at negative 10 and then decreases the altitude by 10. Well, if he decreases, so the second, choice B, if he's at negative 10 and decreases, that means he goes that way. There's no way he goes to 0, so B is out. C, the hiker starts at positive 10, so in this case he's here, then increases by 10. So if he increases by 10, he ends up at 20. C is definitely not it. And then D, the hiker starts why do I have some words? Hiker starts at 0, so here's 0, that's where he is. Then decreases by 10, which means he ends up at negative 10. So definitely not. So the only one that ends at 0 is choice A. This one is a long video. If you look at your problem here, this is an exercise in calculator, so you can just enter it as it is. I mean, if you want to change that to this, okay. I mean, because you have a calculator, I don't really know if there's any tricks to this. I changed the 7 over 10 to negative 0.7. You didn't have to, again, because you have a calculator. Negative 0.7 plus 0.15, enter. So in your calculator, you should have this value right now. And then you're going to press the divide button, and then negative 0.125, and our answer is 4.4, positive. So even before I divided this, I've been looking at my signs. This is a negative and negative, so I know my answer is positive. So right away, A is gone and B is gone. So now it's just between C and D, and the answer is C. 52. What is the product? Okay, seriously? Negative times a negative is a positive, so that's gone, that's gone. It's between these two. So 1/4 times 3/7, and this would be just 3 over 28. Can't simplify anything before I multiply, so it's just 3 over 28. All right, and I think that's it for this section.